You did not decide what you bought last time you went shopping. Here's what the retail industry has spent billions figuring out. Your brain is not a rational calculator. It is an emotional machine running on biological shortcuts that were never designed for a world of infinite products and engineered environments. And every major retailer on the planet knows exactly how to exploit those shortcuts systematically, scientifically, and without your awareness. We're going to go through 4 of these traps right now. The first 3 are done to you. But stay until trap number 4, because that one you do to yourself, and it's the most expensive of all. Before you touch a single product, the manipulation has already begun. The moment you walk into any major retail store, you enter what behavioral researchers call the decompression zone. It spans the first 15 to 20 feet past the entrance. And it exists for one reason: to lower your psychological defenses before you reach anything they actually need you to buy. Retail anthropologist Paco Underhill spent over 2 decades filming shoppers in thousands of stores across multiple countries. His conclusion, published in Why We Buy, was unambiguous. People in this entrance zone read almost no signage, touch almost no products, and register almost no information. The brain is still transitioning from the pace and alertness of the outside world. So what do smart retailers place in that zone? Sensory anchors, the smell of fresh bread near the bakery section even when nothing is baking. Warm ambient lighting after the cold outside. Soft music at a tempo slower than your resting heart rate. Not products, mood. They are setting your emotional state before you make a single decision. By the time you reach the first real aisle, you are no longer in task mode. You are in experience mode. And that shift, invisible, seamless, complete, is worth billions in annual revenue across every major retail chain in the world. And this is the part that looks like generosity. It is not. The second trap is price anchoring, and it is one of the most replicated findings in all of behavioral economics. The principle is simple. The human brain cannot evaluate price in absolute terms. We can only evaluate price relative to something else, and retailers decide what that something else is. Nobel Prize winner Daniel Kahneman spent decades documenting this cognitive architecture. In Thinking Fast and Slow, he demonstrated that the first number we encounter becomes an anchor, a reference point that distorts every judgment that follows. We don't ask, is this worth $49? We ask, is $49 better than $89? And the answer is always yes, even when the $89 was invented. Behavioral economist Dan Ariely at Duke University pushed this further. His studies showed that the anchoring effect persists even when subjects are explicitly told the original price was arbitrary. You can know the trick and still fall for it because the cognitive distortion operates before conscious reasoning engages. The $89 was never real. It was a ceiling constructed to make your brain feel like $49 is a rescue, not a cost. You're not saving $40. You are spending $49 you had not planned to spend, and you will remember this purchase as a win. Now here's where it stops being subtle and becomes psychological pressure. The third trap is manufactured scarcity. and it operates by hijacking one of the most powerful emotional drives in human biology: the fear of loss. Robert Cialdini's foundational research in influence established that scarcity doesn't just increase perceived value, it activates the brain's loss aversion circuitry. And Kahneman's prospect theory, confirmed across hundreds of studies, quantified exactly how powerful that circuit is. Losses feel approximately twice as painful as equivalent gains feel good. The brain is not wired for symmetry around gain and loss. It is wired to avoid losing. Only 3 left in stock. Ends tonight. Limited release. These are not inventory updates. They are emotional triggers designed to transform a neutral decision into a perceived threat. And the threat does not need to be real. Internal research from Amazon found that adding low-stock messaging increases conversion rates by up to 24%, independent of actual inventory levels. Your nervous system cannot distinguish between a real scarcity and a manufactured one. The stress response, the urgency, the tunnel vision, the impulse activates identically. Which means the product could be in a warehouse of 10,000 identical units. You would still feel the pressure, and you would still buy. And now we reach the last trap, the one that requires no store design, no price strategy, no engineered scarcity, because you bring it with you. This trap is called emotional spending, and it is the most expensive psychological mechanism in this entire list. Not because retailers invented it, but because they know exactly how to position themselves as the solution to it. Psychologist Pieters at Tilburg University has studied the relationship between emotional states and consumer behavior extensively. His findings show that loneliness, anxiety, low-grade stress, and the feeling of loss of control all reliably trigger compensatory spending, the use of purchase as a fast, accessible form of emotional regulation. Not luxury spending, not impulsive splurging, ordinary, daily, invisible over-purchasing driven entirely by internal emotional states. Here is the mechanism. When your sense of agency feels threatened, a difficult week, a frustrating interaction, background stress you haven't named, your brain begins seeking fast, concrete acts of control. Choosing a product, completing a transaction, receiving something. These micro-actions create a brief neurological sense of agency and reward. Retailers don't create this need, but they design every element of the store environment to intercept it: the warmth, the lighting, the music, the layout, all of it engineered to feel like relief. The most precise signal of emotional spending. You don't remember deciding. You remember arriving home and wondering why you bought it. Not because you were distracted, because the decision was never made consciously. It was made by the part of your brain looking for a way out of discomfort. Here is what connects all 4 of these traps, and this is the insight that changes everything once you see it clearly. 3 of these traps are done to you from the outside. 1 of them is done to you from the inside, and the system is designed to make both feel identical. The decompression zone, the anchor, the scarcity signal, those require infrastructure. Those require investment. But emotional spending? That requires nothing except your own unresolved state. And that state is available every day, in every store, in every digital cart, at every checkout screen at midnight. The retailers who understand this don't just design stores, they design comfort. They design the feeling of agency in a moment when yours has temporarily disappeared, and they have spent decades getting very, very good at it. Seeing the system is not the same as escaping it, but it is the only thing that makes escape possible. If this changed how you see the moments when you spend without knowing why, the next video to watch is on the psychology of financial self-sabotage. Why your brain doesn't just fall for these traps in stores but recreates them in every financial decision you make. It's in the playlist below.